so that other people can talk and give their submission. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
IT guy. IT guy.
Yeah.
Let me quickly add something, sir.
Okay.
Let me quickly add. There is something I'm going to say, and I want to say it broadly. And I'll borrow from one of the songs of late Hubert Ogunde. Is a fantastic legendary that I respect so much in African creativity. And he sang it for the Yoruba people. But I will twist part of it. He said, yeah, 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 ẹ jẹ́ ká ronú o. Number one, and I continue to see, I'm doing social experiment.
Did that come from Yoruba Ronu?
Yeah. Yes, I said I would tweak it. Yeah. So I don't want to say Yoruba Ronu because I'm not talking to Yoruba alone.
I thought so.
And what it means in English is let us think. You see, that is a big problem in this whole justice for whatever we do as Black people. We always allow our sentiment to becloud our sense of judgment and reasoning. We don't want to think. If anything is contrary to your view, you see it as fake. Everything that comes, you suspect it. You suspect A, you suspect B, you suspect everything. Even your own existence, you are not sure of it. So how do you want to get answers? I have continued to talk lórí ọ̀rọ̀ àwòrán yìí that if truly there is something to take, àwọn ọlọ́pàá máa ti rí. If truly there is something to get on any form of video, anything, police for don't see them, they for don't pack them. Leave all those things. So as far as I'm concerned, I have always seen that since I joined this movement, I have always been right. And that is why I will stick to my gun. I have always been right. I don't know things, but I look at things clearly. There are times when I will talk, they will say I am for the widow. They will say I am for the mama. I don't care because people don't like to hear the truth. People don't want to hear the truth. No. Now, let us rest that matter. But this is what I want to say generally. As long as we continue to suspect everything, don't believe anything, we will not achieve anything. But when we stop and begin to behave as spectator, we will see that we are better than the players and the coaches and the coaching crew. Because the spectator will see what nobody sees. But in this matter, we have included ourselves and we have fractionized ourselves and we continue to see in a very narrow way. And it will be, I will repeat myself, can you achieve justice going through injustice route? It's a rhetorical question. It's left for everybody to take. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, Aristocrats. I love it when people sort of like are impactful, because when you need to affirm and buttress sort of like a point and you come to something so salient, I really appreciate that. Good morning, Top Movies. Now, Mama Jays, I hope you are not Karima, but if you are, you're welcome. So unmute yourself and speak to us. Mama Jays, are you there? Mama Jays is what I can see. Mama Jays or Mama Jazz. Okay, Top Movie, you have the floor. Thank you. Maybe Mama Jays collecting themselves. Top Movies, welcome. I hope you know what we're talking about. If you do, you have the mic. You have the floor. Thank you so much for coming.
Okay. I salute you, IT guy, and everyone.
To you, happy Friday to you. Thank you. It's Friday.
Yeah, same here.
Thank you so much for coming.
All right. This is what I want to say. Okay, and this is my take. I've been getting people saying lately that justice for mohbad this, justice for mohbad that. But the honest truth is that the true and the genuine justice for mohbad, nothing has happened to it. Justice for mohbad is still intact. The genuine justice for mohbad is still intact. The only thing here is that the injustice for mohbad, the darkness of the injustice for mohbad is being exposed by the actual justice for Mohbad process. That is the truth. Because when you see those people that claim that they're actually seeking for justice, what they're portraying there is just injustice.
Carry on, top movies. Good
So,
morning, people that are just joining that from Ayamin Kade. You keep going in and out. Mute yourself, please, Ayamin Kade.
can you hear me?
No, hold on. I'm just trying to. Okay, carry on, top movies. Sorry. Go on.
So we should understand that nobody should come and discourage anybody that justice for Mohbad is having a K-leg or anything. Justice for Mohbad is still strong. It's only those people that are in for injustice that are getting complicated because they are being exposed from their own negativities that they operate with. That is just it. Because a whole lot of people were into this movement together. Something led to what? And people started to speak on their own conscience while other people started to speak on their own pockets. So those ones speaking on their own pockets, they are being exposed. Those people speaking on their own conscience, they have been justified. So justice for Mohbad is still strong. Nobody should discourage anybody standing for the new justice because it's still intact. So that's just my take.
Top movies. In the last 14 months, we've gone through a tumultuous process. It's been turbulent. It's been nasty. It's been crazy. It's been disgusting. It hasn't been that pleasant. What are your takes? What are your reflections in the last 14 months? And where do you think we can go from here as people?
Okay. The IT guy, to be honest with you, the last 14 months is all about debunking false narratives. There's been a whole lot of lies. And to be honest with you and anybody that is listening to me, this particular lies was being speculated by a particular individual. I don't even want to mention name, but it's very obvious because he was the particular person that was coming out onto different platform, social media platform, speculating falsehoods.
Yeah, you need to name the individual, please.
I'm talking about Josie, okay? Because as we all know, Josie has been the one coming out to social media platform with different narratives that have no evidence.
Let's try something. Yeah, either you call him Joseph Aloba or Mr. Aloba. Yeah, let's just
what I'm trying to say here is that you know very well that the reason why most people, okay, let me say this, the reason why most people came into this movement was because of the video that was circulating online where people were seeing the kind of oppression, the kind of suppression this particular guy got during his, you understand? That was what people saw and they were like, this is so inhuman. Why will another person do this? And people got so interested that they wanted to know actually what happened to this guy. All right? That was what brought most people into this picture. But Joseph Aloba took the route of going to several platforms, okay, speculating falsehood narratives in public just because of his own agenda of setting this daughter-in-law up for defamation because of Mohbad estate. It's very clear written in CTC where he was mentioning about several lands and all those things. All the informations are there in the public media space, but people are not picking it. They are not taking it. They are not digesting it. And they don't even want to comprehend because he has already made them the tool for his own speculative agenda. And that was where this problem came out from. People decided to follow the wagon of injustice. They left the actual justice and they were seeking for injustice. And that was where this problem started from. And what people with conscience was all doing all this while, most people that were really out for the genuine justice, what they were doing is, where is the proof for all these narratives? They were debunking lies upon lies upon lies. Now, that's what they call decision-making process. When you don't have adequate information, you will be bound to make inadequate decision. So far, so good. This is 14 months. A lot of information has gotten out there to the public media space. People have seen the light. People have seen through the negative dealings of the people that are actually in for injustice, and they are coming back to their status quo.
So, top movies. You said something, very quite important there when you said justice for Mohbad is still is the cause and the drive is still on. We know it's still on, although we know the inquest at this point in time is in recess. Um, and you did make a point about the father of the deceased, Mr. Joseph Aloba, being instrumental in peddling perhaps sort of like lies or instigating aspect of the process that will give him credence and support. Are you still there? Top movies. And whilst we kind of ponder over that, he then becomes another actor who is prominent in the process that probably been accused right now by top movies as part of the instigators, the drivers, the forces behind peddling certain narratives. And we know that for Buki Jason to start calling Wumi Cynthia Ashana, we know that actually emanates from some of Mr. Joseph Aloba's claims and some of his narratives, especially when at the inception, he would go on different shows and he would say all these things. And he says it sort of with his hand to his heart and all that kind of stuff. If we put things in perspective, top movies, how do you think, as far as the movement is concerned, that followers on the other side that we call the Wumi followers and the Wumi people, how useful do you think they've been to the process? And are there negativities in the way they've carried themselves? What sort of advice do you have for them? Thank you.
I think I got a call. Hi, T-Guy. Good morning.
Good morning, Daps. I think it's back.
Goodbye.
Oh, I think it's back. Yeah. Top
Can you
movies.
hear me, IT guy?
Did you hear what I said?
I
Did
heard you
you?
very well.
Okay, carry on.
Yeah, I
Carry
heard
on.
you very well.
Carry on.
And now this is what I will tell you. Okay, like I said, justice for Mohbad is still on the right track. All right. The government and the law enforcement agency, they are playing their part. Okay. The citizen is the primary focus here. Like the public interest is the primary focus here. Joseph Aloba or any of the complainants to actually get the justice for Mohbad. All right. But the most important thing is that legal directive must be followed lawfully. In any assembly where people are speculating falsehoods, people should call them out and debunk that process. Okay? Because, like I said, the only complexity that led to what is what at this particular point in time is the injustice that certain group started exhibiting. Like, we know very well that a whole lot of lies was given out there in the public by Joseph Aloba, who presumed
Yeah, but what
to
have
be
we
the father
learned?
of the deceased.
What have we learned?
And
What
people were
have we learned from the other side? What have we learned from the other side?
now the other side, like you said, the only thing there is that they are all about debunking the lies that was flying out. They were all about putting those people that already been brainwashed on the right track. Because I will take myself for example, okay? All I've been doing is to debunk lies upon lies. I have a whole lot of them on my page. And I present it with evidence and proof, even referring it to some sections of the law. And that has been the most important structure of the other side, debunking those falsehood narratives. Can you imagine people saying that the justice for Mohbad that they seek is Wumi? should be a suspect without any evidence. Where is that one coming
Right.
from? But now people are seeing the light.
Okay.
People are
Let's
seeing the
let's
light.
let's.
And when we all don't eradicate that particular notion, then the justice that they are claiming that they are seeking for is actually injustice.
Okay, thank you for that top movies. You've made an incredible point that we need to note, and that top movie, when I say claims, it's just a word, so don't take it seriously. So, top movie has narrated in his submission that we need to take a point seriously, and that is that the positive for him on the Wumi's camp and Wumi's supporter is that they have been debunking lies. They probably, perhaps, oh my God, who's that? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. God bless you. And people on the other side, on the other side, have spent all their time relentlessly debunking lies. And you know what it's like when claims are made. And interestingly, really, at the end of the day, apart from dragging Mr. Joseph Alova, Gorexi, a number of times or every so often, I sometimes kind of find their platforms very quiet and solemn because you will find their platform playing stuff from the previous day. They will have their own show. They will celebrate all sorts to do with highlighting the disadvantages of women being castigated in our society. Women will always be the problem. Widows, victimization, and all this stuff. Lately is all about promoting women's business. They seem to kind of carry on almost minding their business. So that's an interesting observation. We're going to talk about it. People may agree or disagree, but I've been on Temi's platform. I was there a couple of mornings ago. They embraced me. Dawa class was there. Temi, and yes, I mean, I really liked the topic of the morning, and I thought, gosh, I love this topic. I'm gonna go in there if they allow me to speak, and they did, and I really, really, really enjoyed the show. I enjoyed my time there. They accommodated me, and as people will say, don't go there, don't go there. Look, we are human beings. Like Yoruba will say, "Someone gbe no sori ni won de gbe no sori." And if you go there in peace, at the end of the day, they're not going to shred you into pieces. That is how we should do it. If you want to do it, be brave. For me, my bravery is I go in there, I say good morning to everybody, and I request the button to come up. And they can deliberate on whether they want to bring me up or not. And, let's do it. So thank you very much, Top Movies, for that. I'm going to try Mama J's again. Mama J's, are you ready for us now? Because if you're not ready for us at all, somebody else can take that particular grid. Hold on, yeah, good morning, dear for Emole. I think right now we allow Dabs to speak whilst I drop Mama J's. Somebody else can take that position because I can't just keep it kind of warm without no usage. So sorry, Mama J's, you have to come back again. Carry on. Is it Dabs that need to speak now?
Yeah. It's me. It's me.
A
It's
very
me.
good morning to you. Happy
Good morning.
Friday. Welcome to my live show, my platform. I think I've
Welcome.
engaged with you in the past. I've been on your
Yeah.
platform
Yeah. Yeah.
with you. So
Good
we've
morning.
actually been able to dialogue respectfully. There's no reason why we shouldn't be respectful.
But it's,
So
it's always nice to
welcome.
have a calm
Welcome.
topic sometimes.
You're
But I
welcome.
would just I'll come up with my own observation.
Which one is that? Which one is that? Go on. No. Hold on. We've addressed that. Hold on. In my summary, I said the way platforms spend all their time debunking lies. So yeah. Let me. Hold on. I will give you the opportunity to speak. Let Dabs finish, and you will be next. Then you can speak, please. Let's read in that order. Thank
Sorry,
you.
please. Hi, today. Can I switch to Lagba? Can I switch to Dawa class? People don't know me much as Lagbaja here, please.
Yeah. I know who you are. They probably know, but it depends on how you want to be addressed. But I will call you Lagbaja at this point because that's what people can see. I don't want to get people
Okay.
confused.
Okay, so now I'm gonna have the floor. I feel like three things that people have to be aware in this particular case is that first impression, you have to take your emotions off, regardless of whichever side you belong to. That's the first thing. Your emotion have to be on a different side while you also be on a different side as well. Second thing is the fact that you have to know for a fact this guy wasn't killed by anyone, the wife or the people you guys
let's
as.
let's let's use the word bite, please.
Okay, bye. For
Yeah.
it was okay, it wasn't by the wife. That's
Yeah.
see, there's no way you want to argue it. You have to hold that as a second reason. And the third part you have to hold strong is the bully part. Those are the three things you have to be aware about. So when you're able to hold on to those three things, you would then see things differently because when you're being fixated about the fact that oh you assume someone else did this thing, and then every single time people try to give you a perspective, you become so defensive. You get, and I've seen people get their emotions invested in this thing. They've gotten to a point where they don't even see the reality anymore. They believe what a particular host is coming up to say about this case than what the police or what the people in charge are saying. Imagine someone who lives in the same estate is saying, oh, there's no cloud storage, and then people would want to feel angered by that. And they want to start saying, oh, he's saying
And they will,
bullshit.
and they've decided to flag the show as well because of
Exactly. So this is one thing. People are going against the reality. And what happens when people go against the reality? It all lies when you go against reality because the reality is there. If you're not going to believe what people who are in charge or people who live in that environment are saying, who are you going to believe? You get, and I've seen people get over time just like, build up their own summary, build up their own story without evidence, and then they want to then proceed to say, oh, it's going to be a smooth experience. It's not going to be a smooth experience for them because I feel like at the end of the day, some people are going to see this thing as a waste of time because you are not going to get what you believe. You're not going to get that person you want to go to jail. She's not going to go to jail. She's not. You get, so some people would then look back and say, "Oh, I could have done something serious with my 14 months, 15 months on this case. I could have done something better." But if you take your emotions off, you take your bully part off, I feel like you would have a great time to meet with good people, see this case in a good perspective, and you would stop being biased. So I think it's all for my side for now.
Okay, thank you. Perhaps, as you can say, our biases are also, if you can mute yourself, please, Dabs. Our bias and biases is also a problem in the last 14 months because that takes us places that doesn't actually allow us align our minds to be objective, and then it actually causes people to be aggressive and be unkind to one another. And for the benefit of everybody listening, everyone who's joined the show, yes, it is to be known that Lagbaja, as you can see, is indeed our class. Because I saw Lagbaja, I won't address him as Lagbaja, but he's actually said that it's okay to address him as Dawa class because that's who we know him as. So Dawa class, Lagwaja, thank you for that. Well, you're welcome in any form or shape, in any character you decide to embrace us with. We appreciate. Okay, J for Emole, you have the mic before we go to Mayo. Yeah,
Sorry,
J for Emole.
sorry, host. Let me
Yeah.
quickly drop this. I
Okay.
think periodically try to help us. Maybe you do a banner. Try to
Okay.
help us for people to know the topic we are discussing about, and
Okay.
it will be good
I
for
think
us
I think I
to.
put it somewhere. I don't
Yeah,
know where it features, but I think I put it somewhere. I'm
yeah.
supposed to have a background, and I'm supposed to have somewhere else, and I typed something in there to say,
Just do a banner so
yeah,
that
okay,
they go
okay,
know what we dey talk about. That is number one. Number two, I think what we all need to understand is we are human. There will be bias, but what is the degree of your biasment with regards to the cause you are fighting?
yes,
Is it helping it? Is it not helping it? If the degree is very high, then you are wrong. If it is balanced, then it's okay. And it's always okay for us to engage ourselves. I learn, you learn, and you probably shift your position. You might not do it in the public, but you will have changed your line of thought to be better. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that observation, aristocrat. If I need any help with the banner situation, I'll reach out to you because, yeah, it makes sense. And for the benefit of people who are just joining and people who have joined, we're reflecting on the last 14 months on this course. Has it been a blessing? Has it been a curse? Have we really gained anything from it? Are there negatives and positives? Where do we go from here? Upon reflection, has your time been put to a good use? Have you really sort of like gained something from it, as well as Madam Adenike came earlier and said, she's learned so much, she's gained so much, she's reflected, and people have actually been able to. Because last week we covered something around this whole process in the last 14 months, how it's impacted our mental health, cyberbullying, the impact of any form of bullying people may have experienced. And we have professionals in the mental health industry, especially based in the UK. Yeah, they graced the occasion. They actually enlightened us, really welcomed the lady when she came, and it was so useful. If I can remember her name now, I don't know whether it's Amina or something of that nature, but she did well. And then we are here today. We're now reflecting. This has affected our lives. You're going to get dragged because you have a different opinion, because you put your opinion differently. As aristocrat is actually sort of like mentioned, we have our bias and our biases, and sometimes our biases doesn't actually help the process. It doesn't actually help our thoughts. A few sort of like you don't have to be neutral to be objective. Because when you are neutral, you also have a problem, because you need to shape your mind in a way. That's why this course, when the process started, they will say, "Oh, don't mind the IT guy. He's working for me. He's on the Wumi camp." They're still saying it up to recent that I'm working. I'm not working for anybody. I'm not working for no camp. I don't have to debunk anything. You can think what you want to think if it works for you the way it does. If Comfy can drag me the way she drags me, never done anything to the woman. I've never dragged her before. She actually opened a show for me last Sunday. Can you imagine? In the background is my photograph, and she has opened a show for me. For what? If you come for Baba, I will come for you. What have I done to you? I think I've addressed that before the show started. J for Emole, you have the mic. Good morning to you, sir. A very good morning to you. Happy Friday. Thank God it's Friday. I don't know the truth about anything. He has his own opinion. I don't know the truth. Okay, okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, for a moment, let me slow you down a little bit. Let's not make it personal. And I'm sure in the last 14 months, you must have experience of, first of all, how you feel. Maybe you've been dragged before, maybe you've been called names before, maybe you've reflected and you want to change your ways, maybe you've tried to convince people to see things differently. I mean, what are your experiences?
IT guy, let me
Hold
just
on, hold on,
respond,
top movies.
okay?
Hold on, top movies. We can't address this thing as, we are not having a personal dialogue here. Please mute yourself, top movies. I'm trying to kind of stop that from happening. I don't want any personal dialogue here. We want
No, no,
people to
no.
hear their
I'm not
own.
even
It's
ready for
okay, but you need
any.
to mute
No,
yourself
no. I'm
first.
not even ready to go that
You just
route.
need to mute yourself, please. Thank you. So, Jay Mole, what are your thoughts? What are your experiences? Just speak to us about your own take on the matter in the last 14 months. Your experience, please. Thank you. Okay, bear with me just a moment. Mayor 25, are you
Pay for
there?
the money. Are
Mayor
you? I think
25?
it's
Hi,
you guys.
Mayor
hi, good
25.
morning.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning, IT guy. Can you hear me?
Very good morning to you. You are audible. Thanks
Yeah,
for
good morning,
coming.
everyone. Yeah, in line with your discussion about reflection, reflecting on how this has gone on in the last 14 months is part of learning. Because if we do not reflect, we are not going to learn on the process of how to move forward, what else can be done. And for me, one of the things is for us to be, like you said before, to be open minded, to have the ability to learn and to change process. I think, and Yorubas, we say that "Ohun tó wà lókè ṣì tó aṣọ gbẹ." We could still do it. We could still ask the government for health reform. Because to be honest, from my experience, is this person had an anaphylactic reaction. And one of the things we should be clamoring for from the state government, from the federal government, is how we can have access to quick health response, quick emergency response, as they have in the Western world. Having health reform, having restrictions on anyone being able to walk into any pharmacy or chemist to buy any form of medications or injections, having polyclinics in each area, teaching, health prevention, health education, public health, public health sensitization. This could have been used as part of this. Some of the money that has been raised in this journey could have been used to even buy an MRI machine, a CT scan machine in Ikorodu, in some localities. Some of these things we do not have it, as we are giants of Africa, but we lack so many things. This could have been an avenue. As unfortunate as the situation is, we could have used a good thing could have still come out from it. Something could have been named after this young man. A lot of positivities could have come out of it, but we just mess things up. And of course, the government, the system is going to look at us like these people are not serious, and that is why we are here. What can be used for a bad situation has happened? the positivity that could have come out of it has been turned into a money-making machine. So many things. Helping the government. Okay, we were trying to take him to the hospital. There is traffic. There is this. There are bad roads. All these things could have been addressed. This situation brought a big platforms out that could have been used for something. So I'm still going to say it, like I said before. Ohun tó wà lókè ṣì tó aṣọ ọgbẹ́. We can still retrace our steps and go back to the drawing board and ask ourselves, what exactly do we want for our country? We cannot do anything without having proper health accessibility. Growing up, while we're growing up, there used to be those polyclinics, those little clinics in each areas where children can go for immunization and all those things. Most of these things have been scrapped. All these things could have been used. All these the opportunities were there, but it was turned into a personal vendetta. It was turned to a money-making machine. So for me, I would still say that we could still go back and ask the government for help, for proper health reform. Thank you.
Mayor 25, mute yourself. Everybody mute yourself. I just want to touch on some of the items in that submission. Welcome and thank you for that. Yes, there is usefulness upon reflection. I think that everyone across the board, whether you're in diaspora, you're in Nigeria, whether it's a government, whether it's a local government, we need to learn a thing or two about this process, the failings of with regards to the system, the police, the authorities, perhaps more like some of the amenities that we should have and various other aspects of public fund that needs to be kind of spent appropriately. Maybe the government, maybe the system can actually learn something from this process, the deficiencies and the faults where it may be. You did mention something salient that I actually kind of think is useful. Perhaps by now, if African television has been allowed to do what it wanted to do originally as a foundation, maybe we would have had something little, even if it's a hut somewhere, a little sort of like gizmo somewhere, anything of unit somewhere that kind of pays tribute to mohbad, whether it's in Ikorodu, whether it's in anywhere that we can associate its work to his lineage, his family, maybe we then end up with a museum, and even right now, maybe a foundation would have been making money out of memorabilia, people visiting, and perhaps that money can go a long way to kind of help people with mohbad or his father being the page boy, as we want it to be, and use that kind of money and that kind of proceeds to promote a number of things in terms of what may have happened, the support that the father should have actually got, whether the hurriedness of burying the body is to do with lack of help and support from the system, whether it's something else we don't know, the case continues. But thank you so much for that, because in anything we do, we need to think about our mental health, we need to think about our mental well-being, we need to kind of think about nearness to kind of amenities that will keep us alive. In this case, it's incredibly kind of worrisome that at some point in the process, there are two hospitals just sort of like stone throw, probably even a walking distance from the home, and nothing actually happened. I think with that, we probably can't blame the government. And I don't know the amount of traffic you can have that someone who is actually going through a very high degree of sufferance is taking over 24 hours for us to walk across or even lift him across. And even if we kind of lift him in a stretcher, we should be able to walk to the hospital. So we need, as much as we are addressing the key points in that submission, we also need to look at the responsibility of people around him. At the time he was suffering, at the time we were waiting for the nurse, there are two hospitals nearby. And if someone is weak to a point, that they're no longer useful to themselves and their health is deteriorating. I think they don't have a voice anymore for someone to say he said he doesn't want to go to the hospital and all that kind of malarkey. But thank you very much for that submission. Let's go over to Oluwatosin, Mayor
Can I quickly
25.
say something? Sorry.
Okay, quickly.
From your last statement, this is where health education comes in. If we are aware, then we'll be able to take appropriate action. That is where it comes in. Part of what I'm talking about, health
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
education,
yeah. I
and
do,
that
I do, I do, I do. But I stepped out a bit because I needed to ease myself. I think I missed a bit of that. But yeah, that's a useful point because we need to educate ourselves, as we all know, in Nigeria especially. People will just say, call the nurse. It's something that I've been not a party to, but has actually kind of affected, let me even say my mom, because they just get used to all this stuff called the nurse. And if the nurse comes in there, nurse is not a doctor, doesn't have all the equipment to kind of do the initial assessment. They make a wrong assessment and say just have a rest, and then you find out the person don't buy in the morning. So yeah, health education is key. Mayor 25, you're making an incredibly useful point there because I have my nurse. I think normally in the real world, when I was growing up in Nigeria, because I spent 19 years of my life in Nigeria before I headed back to the UK. In that period of time, I know about family doctors, not family nurse,
exactly.
not family nurse. Nurse is not useful to you because a nurse will come with a doctor, or a doctor will call a nurse if he needs the nurse's attention. Then the nurse will go do, the doctor will go do that. Nurse, blah, 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 gets on a motorbike, come here straight away, blah, 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 blah. I need you to take this, do this observation, take a blood pressure, take all this stuff. And then if we do all that with the doctor being there, and then looking at the initial, the prognosis and the initial assessment, okay, now says your temperature is okay. We can see your eyes are not dilated or whatever. They're not yellowish or whatever. You're not suffering from jaundice or anything like that. Maybe it's just a bit of fever to do with this and that.
Hi, guy.
Malaria.
Can you hear
Let
me?
me finish this. And then they will now say, okay, what we're going to do now, we're going to put you under observation. The nurse will come back 4 hours later or tomorrow. In the meantime, nurse, send this to the pharmacy, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Get this, blah, blah, blah. But people will always have rich people and normal people. We have a family doctor, not a family nurse, not a nurse around the corner somewhere. You're just going to go. They go to the chemist, go and get a syringe, put something in it, come and choke you, and then kill you. Who called my attention just now?
Hi, guy.
Who's that? Oh, Labaja.
Yes, that's me.
Make it brief, please.
Yeah, that's yes, please. When was the last time? When was the last time you came to Nigeria?
Nigeria wasn't too long for me. My mom suffered a mild stroke, and I was in Nigeria maybe in the last 8 months or so, roughly. The last
Okay.
8 months,
Good. Do you know anything about
roughly.
how people? Good. Why are you comparing how UK medical system works with that of Nigeria?
No, no, I'm actually talking about Nigeria. I wasn't talking about UK at all. I was talking about Nigeria, not here. I said when I
Okay.
was
Do you
there,
know that it's a common
I
practice for people?
said I spent
Do you know it's
19 years of my
okay? Do you
life
know
in
it's a common
Nigeria.
practice for people in Nigeria to get treated by nurses instead of doctors? Some even go to pharmacies instead of
No,
hospitals.
that was class. What I'm trying to say is, I grew up in Nigeria. 19 years of my life that I spent in Nigeria, I saw this. People go to chemists. People want to do abortion. They go to chemists to go and get injection, and they die. You will see people going from chemists carrying a child that they've injected something wrong. The child is convulsing, and they are now rushing the child to Luth. Why did you not go to Luth in the first
Okay.
place? Why did you then
Okay.
decide to
Another
go to the
question. If
chemist? But what
there's a
I'm trying to
question,
say, yeah,
good.
go on.
And that is part of the public health sensitization. I think part of this J4M should have been used for is to clamor for sensitization of the public. Because to be honest, like you say, people go to clinics, to chemists, and all those things. The fact is, most people that owns a chemist are they trained pharmacists.
They are not even pharmacists. They just
So
open a
those are the
chemist because they've
things.
got the money to
To
open a chemist because
to to be
they
They are
can
not
make money
trained.
out of it.
Some are not trained.
They are
to
not
be
trained. They are not
very
pharmacists. They just
to be
open a chemist.
very to be
Okay.
very honest with you, sorry,
Um,
Lagbaja, that
the
that
IT guy.
happened.
There's this other question. There's this other question apart from the Aworan, my Yoruba is not to this thing that we need to have
No,
asked
sorry.
this guy. How far is the hospital from the house? People claim it is 5 minutes. Have you asked anybody that lives inside that estate?
Well, no, what we need to do, I think, what's his name? Sakuma. Sakuma is someone who's done some videos around the area, and there are people who are giving us description of how, if you get to the end of the road and you turn the corner, you will be able to see the hospital from the other side of the street. So it is actually thought that it's almost a walking distance. And no matter what traffic or wherever it is you experience, it's just
Let
around
me
the
let me
corner.
let me
Is what
interject you. Let me interject you.
yeah.
Let me interject. Sorry, let me interject you.
Go
There are
on.
questions you need to ask Sakuma. How many gates does Royal Pine have? The estate, how many gates? How many entrances? The one going to Mubat's house, is it the first, second, or third gate? What's the difference? What's the distance
Hold
from
on. Dawa class.
Mubat's house?
Let's take that to another session. Let's hope that anybody in the comment
No
section,
problem.
let's hope they can direct us to someone who can give us that answer, because I don't have the answer and I don't want to speculate. But maybe when we do another show, we have Sakuma.
Okay,
Sakuma is
I'll do
very
that in
very
another
articulate.
session.
Yeah,
Okay,
is very articulate and
IT
knows
guy,
the
I'll do that in
area
another
very well.
session. There was a time I was
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
Yeah, there was a time I was in. There was a time I was in Lagos, and I actually did a video coverage about the distance from the gates to the hospital. So people saying that it's a walking distance. Can you
Okay,
walk it in 10 minutes?
enlighten
Can you
us. Now
walk it
that
in
you have
15
this
minutes?
information,
Don't
But
worry.
wait, Dawaka,
enlighten us.
Lagbaja, let's take it like this. Let's take it like this. You see, they always say tales from the now. If you have done something around it, let us know. But this is a basic fact. And let us work with those. Done it. We can stay outside and blame them, but you need to get involved. You need to see how people are doing this advocacy. But the question is always this: culture will always eat strategy for breakfast. When the people refuse to shift from their medieval attitude, no matter what the government does, it will not change. There are community practitioners, CDAs, CDCs. There are kings and chiefs. It is community people that are chairman of World Health Committees. And they deal with people when it comes to usage of primary health. But do people still use it? No, they still go to Baba Ologun, still go to Baba Bamishe, go to Elewe Omo to go and give birth. This is the problem you have. But when there is calamity, everybody goes back to government and blame government. There are individuals, there are NGOs that have been spending their money on primary health advocacy, primary health infrastructure building, but people still don't listen. So we still need to come to that part to begin to tell ourselves, for those who are enlightened, for those who understand how it works abroad started from somewhere. Nigeria cannot be abroad. We can't compare ourselves with them because they've moved in certain trajectory. Now we are where we are. How can we? Number one, let's take a good example. IT guy is living in UK. How is IT guy using his experience regarding health, regarding responding to issues like this, to educate people back home and say, wow, nǹkan báyìí ń ṣẹlẹ̀ o, báyìí ni kò yẹ kẹ́ ṣe máa ṣe. Ẹ má máa ṣe on your own. This is what we also need to do. Government cannot do it all. As a matter of fact, who is government? Is it not us? So, and that is why I liked what Mayor said. This is where people should rally together. Not blaming, not blaming. You don't blame because you need to be there. I have been a chair on a number of primary health. I know my effort. I know the effort of community people. But still, when they know they share money, people know they come. Even when government is doing child delivery for free, and they will still give them 5,000 to go back home, they refuse to use it. These are the people we have. When people always blame, but you should first ask them, what action have you taken? Let's look at this case we are talking about. We are talking about individual from 30 to 20. Are you telling me they are not enlightened enough to understand that they need to give this guy even first aid when he got injured, if he got injured?
Unfortunately, Aristocrat, that is
a
what
whole lot
played
of
out.
things
That is what
must be
happened.
done.
It shows.
A whole lot of things must be done.
Sorry, Aristocrat. Honestly, hold on.
Mayor 25, you need to mute yourself, please. I'm sorry,
Okay.
we'll come back to you, but you need to
Okay.
mute yourself. Thank you. Carry on,
So
Aristocrat.
what am I saying? A whole lot of things has to be done. See, let us point to something else. Without ditching, don't you remember when Liam was to be given birth to? Where was he battered? Where was he battered? So can you now blame people, young people growing up, who rather go to Elewe or allow someone to make them to go to Elewe to go and give birth? Why would they quickly rush to the main hospital? So you can see that this is kind of orientation that they've had, communal orientation that they have, that instead of you to go to Octodos centers, they rather patronize small chemists, CC nurse, auntie nurse, iya matron, or go to Baba Elewe to give birth. And when there is complication, they begin to shout, government is not good. Every one of us is responsible. As we are talking here, it shouldn't stop on social media. We should say it to people that are close to us as well. We all need to be involved. At the end of the day, government positions are transitional. Someone else will come, but the people remain. People must change for better. And thank you, my sister, for bringing out that topic. This is a cause worth engaging in, and people should engage in it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Aristocrat. Thank you, Mayor 25.
Can I-
Mayor 25. Yeah, hold on, Dark Class. Mayor 25, we're going to touch on that. We're going to come back to that again. Hold on a moment. Let me just do some little stuff here. I love to kind of do it
All right,
now.
and thank you. I'm
thinking
going to
about-
drop so you can bring someone else up. And if I need to come back.
Okay, thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you.
And I will try and open a show again just to cover this topic, and I hope I don't forget. I think I shouldn't. We're gonna make a topic out of it, and you will be invited. Really appreciate your contribution. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, Dawa class. You were trying to say something?
Okay,
Dawa class?
let me contribute yes, to what
I have only one
this is a
person. I
very
want to
brilliant
I want to speak.
Okay. This is actually a very brilliant observation from Mayo and also from aristocrats. In fact, we need to let our government know that we're in full support that healthcare facilities has to be very close to our homes, and people have to be orientated on some simple some health practices, CPR, how to actually even revive somebody who fainted and things like that. So there are so many things we also need to learn. We also need to encourage the government to also do this. In so many things has Justice for Mohbad taught us on so many things. I said something on Timmy's platform one day. I said, it is now high time that young individuals, if you know you're making money, try to write a will. Try to write a will. Don't say you are too young to die. Anybody, you don't know what day you signed. You don't know what day you're going to expire. Why don't you get yourself a will? Another thing is this: you are young. there's a thing that I usually advise guys. Make sure your nuclear family is the closest to you. There are things that you have to set up your nuclear family that, yes, let them have a jesheku before you start remembering your extended family. If you know you're not married, yes, you can do for your mom, you can do for your dad, you can do everything. But so far you're married, let them know that these two have become one. That is what the Bible says. These two have become one. So far you are one flesh. Do everything possible to make them satisfied. Not that if something happens to you, the widow will now be victimized and things like that. This happens to so many people in African families that it is the extended families or their friends that they spend for instead for the wives or the children they have at home. These are ways that, and then another thing we should know is this. It is not all the time that there's a protest that Nigerians should go into the streets to destroy properties. If the forensic facility created by the Lagos state government, that it was the biggest in West Africa or probably Africa, I don't know the statistics, one of the biggest and the best in Africa, was destroyed during the NSAS movement. If this had not been done, I'm very sure the Justice for Mohbad movement would have ended in 6 months. Autopsy and toxicology would not be taken to NMS lab. It would have been done in Nigeria. It would have been supervised by the Lagos state government. And this thing wouldn't have been having this back and forth. Autopsy was done, taking samples abroad. That is even expensive. So it's also a learning phase that people in Nigeria should know something. Say no to destruction of properties or government institutions when it comes to protest or you want to declare. So we are now suffering this. Another thing that we should also learn is this. Estates on the island should ensure that they have cameras around the estate so that issues like this would also have evidences apart from fiscal witnesses and things like that. We should also have something that IT could also help us to resolve. That's what I just want to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Douglas. Interesting point. Before I go to Oluwato saying a recap on what we've discussed before Mayor 25 dropped an aristocrat, obviously was had his contributions to it as well. So health education is key. I'm sure it's happening. We have NGOs, we have foundations that are doing the best they can to promote this cause, but maybe we need to do a lot more. Maybe as people, as government, maybe there needs to be, adverts on in the news, maybe billboards, maybe radio station, just to wake us up. Maybe the government needs to take this case very lightly and actually see the failings or deficiencies that are there. Whichever way, there is taxpayers' money being used for all sorts. Maybe you can actually use it to keeping people alive more than anything else. And another thing, obviously, that our class Lagoja touched on, which is also key and supreme, is that when you are young, from the age of 18, you may not sort of like take it seriously. Then you get to the age of 21, you may not take it seriously. But by the time you start getting to the age of 25, you start looking at a future. Why? Because you can just get someone pregnant tomorrow. They can have a baby. You become a father. You become sort of like responsible. And as a responsible husband, father, or boyfriend, or whatever the case may be, if you assume that responsibility, start thinking about health insurance, start thinking about life assurance, perhaps start thinking about writing a will. Maybe one day you hit stardom, you're as big as Wizkid, or you're as big as Davido, or as big as Odogu. And even as big as mohbad, because he was about to really explode big time before his life was shortened and actually taken in a very kind of a sad way. If you're young, start thinking about how you're going to protect yourself, your family, your future. Start putting something in place, however little it is. Little drops of water, a few grains of sand, no doubt will make the mighty ocean. So let's have Oluwato sing if we get lucky. We've been keeping you waiting for a bit. Are you there? And I know some people have waited a bit and they I don't know, they have other things to do. Carry on. You have the mic, you have the floor. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, the IT guy, and everyone here on the panel and people in the comment section. I greet everyone. Based on the initial subject matter being discussed, which is a reflection on the whole justice for mohbad within the past 14 months, and let me put this caveat here: anything I say is my personal opinion regarding the subject matter. So I'm not doing back and forth with anybody. Maybe if you think as I'm saying does not suit you, it is my own opinion. And the thing is, if we want to have a reflection, then we need to take it back to the start, where this whole thing started from, what brought us into it, or what brought me as a person into it. Because I guess along the line, over the past 14 months, we realized the fact that people in this whole cause or movement called Justice for Mohbad are in it for various reasons. You might think you're looking for justice. For some people, it is their own business. For some people, it is personal vendetta and the likes. Now, for me, what brought me into this whole thing? When the news came out about the demise of this guy or whatsoever, I guess the first news or what came out on the social media space, which was posted by Instablog, was the fact that the guy passed on because of ear infection. And another blog, Lover, came out to debunk it. No, it's not ear infection, it's this, it's that. And before you know it, few hours later, we start seeing videos of the beating, bullying, and everything. And I guess that is what caught the attention of so many Nigerians, me inclusive, to come into this case. And when this whole movement started, Justice for Mohbad, everybody were together. The aim, the goal was the same. Even the first set of interview they had with the father and everything, 4, 5, 6 different interviews that the father had, he didn't mention that maybe somebody caused the death of his son or anything. In fact, there is an interview where they were asking him specifically if he thinks maybe there is a foul play in the demise of the guy. He said no. When they even asked him about those who bullied the guy and everything, he said he didn't think like anybody can do that. That's one fear Julo on it. Everybody were on the same page. Now, how did we get to the divide of the side? Me, I can tell you for a fact that I'm a supporter of Wunmi, and people should get this fact right. Supporting Wunmi does not mean that if, as of today, the authorities say that there is an evidence pointing to Wunmi as the perpetrator of this crime, that she should not be arrested. That's not it. When this whole thing started, you know the whole African mentality about the fact that once the husband, passed on, the wife becomes the victim instantly. And while they were doing that, this girl or this guy has a 5-month-old baby. If you were within the space of the social media space, then the curses, the bully, and everything was just too much. And some people, myself inclusive, feel like, no, this is totally wrong. Things should not be like this. If you are accusing this girl of doing this thing, bring your proof. At least in law, they say that you are innocent until proven guilty. Then people started coming up with so many narratives. Yes, say, them say, they came up with narrative like, oh, he was stabbed, he was this, he was that. Bring proof. While people were coming up with different narratives, those involved directly were also bringing out some certain talks or discussion tilting towards that side. And that is how we got here today. When those who call themselves the public come up with lies, those who witnessed the whole thing that happened firsthand, they didn't come out to debunk anything. And you know one thing about lie? If you allow a lie to try for so long, people start taking it as the truth, which is the major element that brought us here. So sometimes when people talk about, oh, they're still Wunmi, they are supporting this thing. No. People should get it right. The thing is the fact that some people say that no, You cannot start this old widow victimization all over again. And you causing a 5-month-old baby. 5-month-old baby. There was a time whereby every day on some platform, once they on their live, from morning till night, it is cursing. Oh, the boy is not going to be up to 6 months. He's not going to this. He's not going to that. Now, 14 months down the line, there is no evidence anywhere. And these are the things we keep asking today. So if we are saying we want to reflect on this whole cause for justice for Mohbad, I do say it on our own platform. I don't believe there is any justice anywhere. Because this is what we are going to get. Now we've gotten to a point whereby, like, just like your topic, like, we need to reflect on ourselves. What exactly is the justice? Is it the thing is the justice we talk about is justice for Mohbad, but what exactly are we doing today? Justice for Baba, justice for Mumi, justice for Mama. That is what we are doing today. So it is not about one camp doing this. No, because the honest truth is, if you come for me today, there are soldiers who are going to come for you. If you come for Baba today, there are people who are also going to come for you. Now, in all of this, show me where the interest of Mohbad is. The lifeless body of that guy for over 14 months is in the morgue. Have we seen to ask ourselves, why is the body of that body still in the morgue? Because some dumb told somebody that, oh, if you bury the boy now, you've buried the evidence. So the thing is, tell me what evidence you want to bury. You've conducted your own private autopsy, you've done your own toxicology, the government has done their own. You disagree with the government, you've done your own. Now, the case of the DNA, you've been able to reach a mutual ground with the widow. Now, the thing is, now ask yourself, what